and welcome back to RC Restomide. Today we're doing something we've never done before. That's a good old-fashioned unboxing video. No, it's not a brand new car from Traxxas or Associated or anything cool like that. It's just parts. But let's have a look and see what the postman brought me. Let's start with the ugliest package, and this should probably be the most boring. Got a cutter here. Cut away from yourself. That's a good safety tip there. What have we got here? And we'll see if Stephen Elliott actually watches my videos, because he's kind of the scrutineer tech guy for our track. And these are a little bit cheaty. What this is a tiny little ball bearing that goes in place of the plastic bushing on the steering bell cranks for a Traxxas Slash. We're gonna put 4 of those in our car, which may or may not be cheating, but it ain't cheating unless you get caught. So we'll see if Stephen watches my videos or not, or see if any of my friends that do watch and race at my track are narcs. We're gonna learn a lot about my friends on that one. A lot of mess in that packaging. And what we have here, 2 packages that are just exactly the same. But there is a 10-pack of the 5 by 11 by 4 bearings that are all over a Slash 2-wheel drive. And they even have the little blue seals, so they look just like the ones that Traxxas puts in them. So we've got bearings and more bearings. That's another package of the same thing, because it takes more than 10 to do a Slash. And guys, look on the Amazon bearings are just as good. And if you are, what's going to kill your RC bearings is not going to be poor quality bearings by and large. What's going to kill them is the dust we run through and the stuff that gets up in there. The little cars chop that dust up so fine that it's going to work its way past your seals, and the dirt that gets in the bearings is going to be what eats them and kills them. So spending a lot of money on bearings, to me, doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Now, if you raced on carpet or asphalt or something where you didn't have that dust issue that we have racing in dirt and bashing around in dirt in the desert out here where I live, then a high-end bearing with less rolling resistance might make good sense. But for where we live and what I do, it does not. So I buy the cheap ones off Amazon because I can get 10 for what my local hobby shop has to charge me for 2 most of the time. Next up, this one is from A-Main Hobbies. And if you have been playing RCs very long, even if you decided you hated A-Main, you're going to do business with them. So do your best to get along with these guys, because they have everything. They got 3 warehouses. I didn't even know about Lincoln, Nebraska until I got this one from Lincoln, Nebraska. But A-Main, they've been a good company to work with. I've had a couple of things that were problematic, and I just call them on the phone and talk to a real person. And those guys are knowledgeable, and they want to make you happy. So do not be afraid to buy from A-Main. Your number 1 stop is your local hobby shop. Your number 2 stop, if you've got a few days for it to come in, is A-Main Hobbies. And if they wanted to give a feller a discount code for parts, I would not say no. See, what did we get from A-Main Hobbies? Woo! We have here aluminum shock caps for the Slash super stock race car we're fixing to build. And guys, I want to talk just a little bit about this last weekend. My local track was hosting a RC Pro Series oval track race, and then we had a club that was on Saturday, and then on Friday we had a club race leading into it. And I have been the proverbial bad luck dude on oval track racing. I've had cars that ran well up to the very end, and then something happened. I either made one little mistake and clipped a wall, or tangled up with a car that was lapsed down near the end and had bad finishes. The best finish I'd ever had was a third in one of my 3 race cars. Then this weekend on Friday night, we had 6 street stocks, and I'll be danged if I didn't win. It's about time. But yeah, had a great run. Really didn't make a significant mistake at all in that A-Main after qualifying 3rd, and I'm still pretty stoked about that. And then on the pro race on Saturday, I ran 5th. I had some mechanical issues. The car just turned off a couple of times. So one of the videos coming up very soon, it's race car, so being frugal kind of goes out the window. We're going to put brand new electronics in it to make sure that doesn't ever happen again, because that kind of stinks. I was running 2nd when the car dropped out. I'm not saying I would have stayed in 2nd. There's a lot of time for things to go sideways. But the fact of the matter is, I was in 2nd when the car dropped out the first time, went down to 8th. It started running again. I worked my way back up to 4th. It cut out again and ended up finishing 5th. So we're going to fix that on an upcoming episode. But look at these shiny blue anodized shock caps. They will seal better than the plastic ones, and hopefully make the Slash Super Stock more durable. Guys, I also ran 3 other classes, and I gotta tell you, my Mud Boss car was terrible. I couldn't, it was bad. It was so bad that in the main, I just drove off the track and parked it because I was in everybody's way so bad. And I don't believe that a car running all the way down at the end of the order should be who determines the winner. And I was afraid I was going to tangle with the leaders as they came by, because I couldn't control the car well enough to give them room to pass, so I just pulled off. The SC late model, which is the big orange and white car that we worked on screen a couple of videos back, I won with it. So I had never won before, and then Friday night I had 2 wins, a Mud Boss that was terrible, and my friend John King, who we did some horse trading on parts with, wanted me to drive his Slash Super Stock because we're building one. He said, hey, you need to learn how to drive one, and I don't want to run that many classes today, you drive it. And I said, okay. And I warned him that because it has a Chevrolet body on it, I was going to break it. That's the luck I have. Well, early on, like I say, it's not my car. I hadn't had a chance to really get to know it. And so early on, I made a couple of little mistakes in the A-Main, and I dropped back, went from right up at the front all the way to the tail end, started clawing my way back up, and I was racing for 2nd and had an epic battle with my friend Brian Hyman for many laps. We were side by side, banging into each other. It was the roughest racing I've been involved with, but it was also some of the cleanest. The hits were all non-intentional, and neither one of us got spun out. We were just banging cars side to side for several laps in a row. And then we had one of those collisions into the side, and the car I was driving just turned right into the wall. And I was like determined to catch him, so one of the marshals straightened my car up. I pulled the trigger and it went straight into turn one. I let off the gas to turn and it went straight. I had broken the servo saver. So I was fighting for second when that car broke, and I won in 2 other classes and then had 1 class go terrible. It was my best racing weekend ever. I'm still stoked about it. I'll probably never have another weekend like that again. I'll go back to being Mr. Fourth Place again very soon, but man, I'm excited about that right now. Anyway, let's open up this box. This one's also from A-Main Hobbies, but this one came from their warehouse in Charlotte, North Carolina. I like getting stuff from Charlotte because I'm in the middle of the country and freight moves faster in the U.S. going from, let's see, from your point of view, going from east to west than it does going from west to east. So I like to get stuff out of Charlotte. I didn't know about Lincoln, but sometimes stuff coming from Chico, California takes a couple of days longer than they anticipate, but it's still good stuff at good prices. So let's see what I got from Charlotte. There's an invoice, some paraphernalia, some cushion. We got a front pin kit that my local hobby shop happened to be out of. We have some S1 compound Kumo tires, which is the go-to for classes that are required to run Traxxas tires at our track. These work pretty good, so we got a set of fronts. I think these are fronts. Oh, take that back. These are the rears, and these are the fronts. But these are both the S1 soft compound Kumo tread pattern tires. That's the hot setup. Then the next thing we've got, we're going to replace the Traxxas bearing carriers with RPM ones that are blue. The blue doesn't make it go any faster. I wish it did, but these are just supposed to be a lot more durable, and I broke a steering component this weekend, so we want to be as durable as we can on steering parts. And then this is rear bearing carriers. Once again, it's just a durability upgrade. There's really no performance advantage to these. It's just for durability. What do we have here? We got the spur gear. A Slash Superstock requires that there is no optional gearing. You're going to run an 86 tooth spur and a 26 tooth, 86 and 26. These are the required pinion and spur that must be run in that class. So we have those, and I got them brand new to make sure that it's top quality and will be quite durable. It's not that expensive. Got a hinge pin kit for the arms. And this is one of the two cool things that's in this bag. This is a low center of gravity conversion kit for the Slash. It's also required for the class, but tell you what, driving John's car this weekend, the handling on them is surprisingly good. So we're going to be converting the car over to low center of gravity, and if this should ever get to Traxxas, you make this plate in like 4 colors. Why does the conversion kit only come in blue? Doesn't make any sense. I probably would have bought a different color if it was available, but that's okay. And I've dreamed up a paint scheme. The car's going to have quite a bit of blue in it when we paint it, so I'm going to embrace my annoyance is going to get embraced instead of rebelled against. And this is probably the second coolest thing we've got. It's the coolest thing we got from A-Main. We'll go ahead and pull it out of the box. See how that opens. Oh, there it goes. This is once again, in this class, they specify what motor and ESC you will run. And because this is race car stuff, I didn't go looking for a used one. Because, you know, let's be honest, if your backyard basher has a problem, you say, oh man, I'm not gonna have as much fun today as I thought. When you're racing and pride and season championship points and all that stuff is on the line and a simple thing breaks, it's heartbreaking and frustrating. So we got a brand new Hobby Wing, just stock 13.5 turn motor. We're gonna put that in the car. And then over here, try to do this quickly and may edit out cutting it out because it's a little boring. And this box is a Hobby Wing, just stock SR10, XR10 ESC that is designed to work with this motor. And this is the setup that is required in the class. So your options, if you're gonna race this class, your options are to find a good used one or to buy a new one. And because this is race stuff, we bought new junk because we want reliability above all else in a race car. Down at the bottom, there's a user manual. There's some heat shrink because we're gonna have to do some soldering, a couple of zip ties, and some double-sided tape to mount the power switch and the ESC. So leave those in the bottom. See if we can get all the wires back in the box. And when my son was little, I discovered I had a talent for getting Christmas toys back in the box, so I could take them out, put batteries in them so they worked on Christmas Day for him. Not the ones from Santa Claus, the ones from Mom and Dad, because, you know, Santa Claus is definitely real, kids. Lives up there at the North Pole and does all sorts of wonderful things. One of the most charitable people ever. Put that wire back like that. Did it, got it back in the box. So anyway, those are the parts I picked up from A-Main. What I ordered, because if we go through our list, we've got low center of gravity kit, we got just stock 13.5 combo, got aluminum shock caps, RPM bearing carriers, S1 Kumo tires. We've got, haven't ordered the batteries yet. Still deciding what to do on that. There's probably going to be a change in my battery program. We got to make sure we got a 26 tooth pinion and a 26 tooth spur. Got both of those. Now, there's one thing that was on that list. That's body. You ready to see the body for this thing? I think it's gonna be cool. I got this from Shark Bodies. And this is my third Shark body. The SC late model we worked on has a Shark body on it. My street stock, my race winning street stock, has a Shark body on it. It's the Night Train Mustang because I'm a Ford guy. The late model, it's kind of neutral. I mean, it's hard to say what kind of car that is. It doesn't really resemble anything that the factory's ever made. So let's see what all Paul at Shark Bodies sent me. And I'm gonna I don't have any kind of deal with Paul or anything, but I made a mistake on an order I placed with him one time. He was super responsive and very, very polite. He seems to be a real good dude. One thing you do know, if you need to know if you order a shark body, it's going to take a little while because he makes them after you order them. I think he's a one or maybe a two-man operation. We'll set the other stuff off to one side and I'll show you that in a moment. Let's get that body pulled out. Obviously, this one's going to require a bunch of trimming, and if you're new to RC, this can be very daunting because you got some money in this, and you're just going to be chopping it up with scissors and a Dremel tool to get it to be the right shape to fit your car, because obviously it's not going to work like this. But the coolest bodies come in clear plastic. Now this, I know what you're thinking, that looks white. Oh, there's Paul's order sheet. It's got all the notes on it. He marked it when he did the right parts. And then there's a little personal thank you. It's written in ballpoint pen. That tells you you're dealing with a good small businessman. And like I say, deal with Paul if you get half a chance. He's good people. And I know this looks white. There's some scuffs it got during shipping and probably the forming process. Right here you can see where the white's kind of boogered up. When you peel, there's a film on the outside of a protective film that's on your body when it arrives that's white. When it peels back, it'll be perfectly clear. Or with Paul, you can order these in white or black when they come from Shark Bodies. You can get a body that's already painted black, and you can go to several different companies that make wrap decals, and you can put wrap decals on your black or white car and be done and not have to spray one little bit of paint. We're going to do something a little more custom than that. We'll probably spend an afternoon with my good buddy Josh Allen, who's pretty good at painting bodies, and I've got a pretty cool idea for what this is going to look like. I already kind of let the cat out of the bag. There's going to be quite a bit of blue involved, but we're going to have a really cool looking stock car. Now the side doesn't really resemble much of anything other than race car. I chose this one. One thing I liked about it is the way the nose is sloped off. I think that's going to give me good front downforce, and the way the front kicks out, once it's trimmed up to get as close to the ground as possible, that's going to help push the front end down. And believe it or not, guys, aerodynamics is real on these cars. My street stock, when I raced it it's an Associated SR10, if you want to look that up, and it comes with a pretty blocky, like 80s Monte Carlo Chevrolet body on it. When I retired that body and put my Shark Bodies Crazy Train Mustang, which is way swoopier and wider and all the curves are laid out, it got much faster. Aerodynamics is real on these little cars, and particularly in oval track racing, it's important. So I like the way the nose is shaped on this one. It is class legal. The way the back end rolls off quick gives you a wider deck lid so you can get more air on the rear spoiler. This thing ought to handle great and look awesome all at the same time. So I'm excited about getting this thing painted up and installed on our chassis. Now there were some more things that I bought from Shark Bodies at the same time to make it all fit. It came wrapped up in this. Let's see what we got in here. What we got here is some super sticky shrink wrap. There it goes. Well, it does appear we got one little problem in that I don't see a spoiler. I may have to send Paul an email about that. I'm missing a spoiler, but I'm sure he'll take care of things. Anyway, when you buy a body, one of the things you're going to get is window masks. You put these over the window and they block when you paint them. You paint the bodies from the inside so that they don't scratch up when you run into things as badly. It comes with quite a few window masks to give you options on when it comes time to paint. Put those in the body box. And then it came with some really cool decals. We've got an air cleaner lid, a little advertising for Paul. Then we've got headlights and an upper grille and a lower grille to make it look like a Mustang. And then we've got the tail lights and rear panel that make it look like a Mustang. And those will be going on because, like I say, I'm a Ford guy, so we're gonna have a bad to the bone, super fast blue Ford Mustang race car. I'm excited about that. This is, I believe, our front bumper kit. And you'll see when we install it how it all works out. Unfortunately, guys, there's no instruction there. He does have videos posted up on his website to show you some of the things that people have found difficult. But this is our front bumper kit. The way that goes together, there's screw holes in this, slots in this, so when you get it put together, you can slide your bumper forwards or backwards until it's up against your body to make it nice and rigid. You do want that because you're going to run into stuff with the front of your car, and if it's getting pinched between what you hit and this bumper, it's probably not going to break your body. If it's hitting that and there's nothing behind it, there's a good chance it'll rip your body and cut its life and make your car look bad. And everybody wants their car to look cool. So we got our bumper kit there. And that should be mounts. There may be, this may be high and low center of gravity slash. It'll mount something like that. And I may have a trick up my sleeve to stiffen this a little more if it needs it. I don't know what this is made out of. It's textured on top like carbon fiber, but I don't think it is because I didn't pay enough for this for it to actually be carbon fiber. And that's the hardware kit that came with that part. That knife's pretty dull. I may have to retire it. It's about out of blade too. This is the body mount, and I'm not sure if this is front or rear. I'll have to figure that out. But this will work in conjunction with factory slash parts. I think these are going to be front. There we go. And there's another one. I believe it's two identical ones. We'll figure out how to make it work. This hardware the hardware kit is different on this one. got some sort of little brace in there. I think these are the same. They are. Anyway, we'll figure out how to make all that work to mount the body to the chassis. But that's our parts. I've got to finish. I'm going to do it off camera because it's basically the same thing we did to our basher. I'm going to take it completely apart, clean it. There'll be some parts of the reassembly I'll show you because there's some things I'm going to do different because it's a race car rather than a basher. Some things we want to, some slight changes that are better for racing but not as good for bashing. So we'll go through that on a video as I'll just shoot those pieces as I'm putting it back together, and I'll try to slam through it as fast as I can. I'm actually a little faster when I don't talk. So we'll go through that, and I'm going to put it all back together with the high center of gravity chassis, and then I'll show probably the full process of switching over to the low center of gravity chassis, because I know that's something that a lot of people who have slashes, even for bashing, this is money-wise, this is not too bad. I think it's like $40, and it makes supposedly a huge difference in handling. I do know that the Slash Superstock or Triple S I drove this weekend drove much better than my Mud Boss, which is high center of gravity, but it also has a more aerodynamic body, and I don't know how much to attribute to each of those things. But anyway, we're going to learn a lot about that, and I will film the transformation from high center of gravity to low center of gravity chassis, and we'll do some measurements. I'll show you what the full thing is on that, and that's all we've got for this time. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed looking at my new toys that we're going to have some fun with. But we have a race coming up towards the end of September. Right now it is about the 10th of August, so I think third weekend in September is when our next oval track club race is. And the goal would be to have this car built, painted, revealed, and racing at that time. May not make it, but I'm going to do my best to. Hopefully when we get it all put together, I'll hold up a TQ sticker and a first place sticker in some podium pictures after the race, standing right in the middle of two of my buddies. And if that's the case, you'll see it all right here on RC Restomod. Have a great day.